We're into the home straight now for the Flow Sports Fix on this Thursday, and it's time to get our ticket and get on board.
All aboard the Sports Express, your ticket to sporting news.
So it was just yesterday that we were talking about the AFLW Grand Final and how it was going to be like a precursor almost to the other AFL games that are on during that round. So this is on the 17th of April. But now the league, just yesterday afternoon, announced that the AFL Women's Grand Final will be played at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, which essentially means that it won't be clashing with any other men's games because their times have also been changed. Now, we know that it will be held at either Adelaide Oval, the MCG or the Gabba. It all comes down to how this weekend's prelim finals are played out. But it was good to see that it's got its own standalone thing. It's not, the pre-entertainment to the bigger match, which is the men's. It is its own game, its own grand final within its own right. Thank goodness that the league made a very quick decision on that one. News coming out of the States, and authorities have revealed the cause of Tiger Woods' car crash. So you remember it absolutely shattered his leg back in February after his car rolled over. And it has been confirmed that the speed limit in that area was 70 kilometres an hour. And Mr. Woods was travelling at up to 140 kilometres an hour before it flew off the road and flipped several times. So they're estimating somewhere between 135 and 140. They're saying there was no signs of impairment, no evidence of distracted driving, and Tiger Woods has actually voluntarily allowed these results of this investigation to go public. Some are thinking he may have hit the accelerator instead of the brakes once he lost control, but it sounds like he was still going pretty fast before he even lost control of his vehicle. And finally, this morning in IPL, Daniel Sams has tested positive to COVID-19 in India, which certainly makes a big problem to the Indian Premier League. He's now in isolation in a medical facility in India. He got a negative COVID report when he got to India, but his second test that came back 4 days later was positive. He's asymptomatic, but he will remain in isolation for the time being. And of course, he joins a lot of other Aussie players, coaches, and plenty of officials that have all moved over to India for the tournament. And all we can do is cross our fingers and hope that there is no more positive cases.
Courtney with the Sports Express, all part of the Flow Sports Fix on this Thursday. And Court will be back with the Sports Express and the Brekkie Flow tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. right here on Flow. Just noting some notable birthdays today. Alex Stewart, the English cricketer, the former England Test captain, was their leading Test scorer back in '96 with 793 runs. After 23 tests and 10 years of trying, he finally made his first Test century against Australia back in December 1998, and Alex Stewart turning 58 today. Jeff Fenech retained his WBC featherweight title by defeating Mexico's Marcos Villasana on this day in '89. A day later, he announced his retirement, which turned out to be, short-lived. And the longest triathlon was completed by Australia's David Holleran, who swam 42k, cycled 2,000 kilometres, and ran 500 kilometres in 17 days, 22 hours on this day in 1998. I've just pulled a hammy just thinking about that. Well, that's our Sports Fix program for this Thursday, the 8th of April. Good luck to all teams that are starting in the local football and netball leagues from this weekend. Some have already started, some will be in a couple of weeks' time, but the Flow Winter Sports Show is back tomorrow, and we'll get some insight as to how teams are possibly going to go this year. There's been some big upheaval and some big changes in various areas, but Wayne and Jace, they'll give us all the details. The Flow Man and the Step Man tomorrow from 4 p.m. right here on Flow. Good luck with your footy tips. Hopefully you'll get 9 winners this week. We'll see if we can prove the Step Man is as good as he says he is. Good luck with all your sport, have fun, and we will see you again on the Sports Fix.